Hello and welcome. It's my first look at the September edition of White Dwarf. Should be in here. It doesn't seem that long ago actually that we were looking at the August edition of White Dwarf. One thing I will say is if you're going to get yours, it feels like it's in a bit of cardboard already in. It's probably something to do with the 30th anniversary of Warhammer 40,000. Here we go. Right, you got model of the month straight away. You've got it's an anniversary edition, so there's quite a few things that are celebrating that, and this is the front cover. You get two massive posters apparently, exploring the history of Warhammer 40,000, Mortarion, exceptional armies, and so on. So yeah, so this is a September edition, and they're celebrating this anniversary. So that's probably the reason why it's in this cardboard, to protect those two massive posters. So let's see what the posters are. Right, so one poster is double-sided and it's got everything to do with Warhammer 40,000. It's of the game Total Warhammer. That's pretty cool though. And then the other poster, wow, yeah, this poster is, wow, that's huge and very nice. I want to say they're Primaris, I really do want to say they're Primaris. Then the bolt rifles don't really look like bolt rifles, but then that is definitely a heavy bolt pistol, so I'm going to just say that these are Primaris. Maybe it's a mixture of both. Maybe that's Primaris and that's a standard mini marine, because the power pack is different, and that is definitely a Primaris power pack. That's Primaris Sergeant. You can tell by the gorgets as well. I mean, I can just see the slight difference between a bolt rifle and the bolt gun, but it's subtle. So yeah, there you go. That's awesome, wicked poster. Celebrating both mini marines and the Primaris. Okay, let's get into the magazine itself. So you got this very nice simplistic sort of cover. The cover art takes the main stage, then you've got the 30 years anniversary, and it just says September, because obviously everything's on the cardboard package. And then you've just got a massive picture of Mortarion on the back, again with all these rainbow colours. I'm not a huge fan of all the sort of bright pinks and the purples and the bright blues. I'd much rather have a more grimy, dirtier looking, you know, Death Guard. But there you go. So same sort of deal as before, about 150 pages, which is quite decent. This edition I think is still $5.99. Straight away you've got sort of like an ad for coming soon, Warhammer Underworld's Shadespire. So that's a cool looking miniature though. Then you've got celebrating 30 years. Okay, Planet Warhammer, all the latest news about the hobby. Straight away down there you've then got this Space Marines Primaris Intercessor Veteran Sergeant. This is to celebrate 30 years of Warhammer 40,000. With your Intercessor box set, the review is coming. I think it's almost possible to make one of those yourself. You can get a Gladius from one of the other Space Marine sets, and you can get a long Purity Seal from a Dreadnought set. So yeah, £20. I just think that they could have made a normal sort of standard Space Marine. I know Primaris are the new thing, but they've only been out a few months, and I just think having one of your older sort of Space Marines, you know, like they did with the Imperial Space Marine, I think that I would have preferred that personally. That's what I'm saying. Mortarion, £85. I think that's how much Magnus cost? I can't be too sure. Death Guard, and he's going to be up for pre-order on the 9th. So, crikey, yeah, that's only next weekend you can pre-order him. So 2 more weeks to wait for him. Codex Death Guard also on the 9th. So both of these guys, both the Codex and Mortarion. I would love to get the model and the Codex guys, but I think I'm going to have to skip the release. I bought quite a few things recently at the open day and just all the Primaris stuff. So I'd love to do the reviews and unboxings and things, I really would, but I think I'm going to have to skip the release. Then you've got a Codex Death Guard Collector's Edition. Oddly enough, they haven't put a picture of that in. I think that's really odd, but that's £50. The standard Codex is £25. The cards and the dice are also available for pre-order on the 9th. Again, there's no picture of the dice, which is a shame. And then a week after that, pre-order on the 16th of September. You can then pre-order the Codex Adeptus Mechanicus. I think that's a combination of the Scutari and the Court Mechanicus codexes, and put them all into one, and then they've got the 8th edition rules. I don't know whether they're going to be any new units. We'll have to see. And then they're also bringing out a collector's edition, which is £50. On the same day, on the 16th September, you can pre-order Belisarius Call. Does that mean he's now the most expensive single plastic miniature out there? You know, for like a single character sort of miniature? Don't know. We'll see how much Rabute Gilliman is if and when they release him separate. Again, on the 16th of September, you've got the Mechanicus data cards, so you've got the Codex and the data cards. But then on this weekend, on the 2nd of September, you can pre-order the Primaris Space Marines 5-man squads, basically, the combat squads, and they're £20 each, £20 for 5 guys. Which is quite expensive, to be fair. And I'm pretty sure they'll only have 2 sprues in, because the £35 sets have 4 sprues in, so they're just going to cut that in half, but they're going to charge you more. I don't think that you are getting anything more, so this is blatant sort of tax on these, just because they're smaller sets, that you can get the sets for 10 for £35, get these sets of 5 for 20, and single miniatures that came before them, it creates an artificial discount. So just be wary of that. Use your head. You might think, yeah, 5 miniatures, only £20, but then look at the 10-man sets at £15 more. So they're now creating this artificial sort of saving between box sets of the same thing. They did that with the big games like the Burning of Prospero, whereby a squad of 5 Custodian Guard, £35, but yet you buy the box set of Burning of Prospero, and I think it's like £95 or so. So that gives you an idea that you're actually getting a really good value with the box set, and they're now implementing that psychology to these. So again, be very aware. It's a lovely, rich time for the hobby, with the number of releases is just mind-boggling, and the variety as well. I mean, crikey, you're getting 2 codexes in the same week sometimes, and they've still got a lot more things to release before Christmas. So again, I just say, you know, stay vigilant on sort of like the price. And more than ever, I think it's important to point out that if you don't feel that something's not good value, or you're not happy with the price that they're setting, just don't get it, is my best advice. Complaining about it and having a go and putting it in the comments and things, and you know, putting it on their Facebook page, they don't care. They won't listen. The only thing that they will listen to is your money. War in the Mortal Realms, Warhammer Age of Sigmar Blight War, £95. You do get this cool looking slug type creature, really excellent looking model, quite a challenge for your painting as well, both the sort of green snail type creature and then the actual shell itself, and then all of the things that are happening on the top, you know, great challenge for painting. Oh yeah, and that one will be pre-order now, so I think that came out on pre-order last weekend. General's Handbook, that's available now, £20. War Scroll cards, they're £10 each. Hobby supplies, so they give you the box of skulls. All of these are available now for £15 a shot, so you get skulls. It does have a lot of skulls though, 340. 144 barbed bracken and creeping vines. Latest from Forgeworld, Magister Amon of the Thousand Suns Legion. I think he came out a while ago, and the Telemon Pattern Dreadnought also was available at Warhammer Fest 3 months ago, but I think he came out for order a few weeks ago now, maybe a month ago. Middle Earth, web store exclusives. Oh, this is interesting. So they've actually released 3 exclusive miniatures. I like him with the melter gun. He's actually got a couple of canisters, look for it. That's pretty cool. £25 for 3 plastic miniatures. 3 Space Marines. Oh my lord. So they've gone from 10 Space Marines at £25 to 5 Primaris at £20, and now 3 for £25. Okay, this is getting a bit, yeah, I mean, and it's a plastic set, it's not fine cast or resin or anything like that. Yeah, like I say guys, as I said before, just, you know, be mindful. Tales from the Black Library, got a few books there. Emperor's Legion by Chris Raitt, definitely interested in that, although it's only sort of 304 pages, barely 300 pages, and it's hardback only. They do this now, they release a lot of their books in hardback for sort of almost £20, and then they release the softback later. I'd much rather than release both editions at the same time, because it's sort of forcing you to spend 3 or 4 times more on a book. I just think that they should release both at the same time. Video game news, Total War Warhammer 2, so that's that. Warhammer Quest 2, End of Times, Freeblade, Space Wolf, Doomwheel, Warhammer 40,000 Aeronautica, Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr, that looks okay. Season of War Firestorm, got a lot of contact. And then here we go, this is the main feature. This is one of the reasons why you probably buy this White Dwarf, is this 30 years of Warhammer 40,000. There you go, look at that. That's what we want to see. You even got a Warlord Titan in there. Lots of knights against a load of Chaos Warhounds and a Reaver. Does seem pretty odd that those Warhounds are really close to those knights. It might be the camera, but they seem really close. You got Mortarion, and then you got Guilliman. And a very interesting thing to look at is that there are no standard Space Marines at all there. At all. Well, in any of it. No standard Space Marines. I've looked really hard. So what does that say? Absolutely no standard Space Marines. A couple of standard Space Marine tanks, Predators, and that's it. You've got the Repulsor, you've got 2 of the Redemptor Dreadnoughts, you've got quite a few Inceptors, another Redemptor as well, so there's 3, but no standard Space Marines at all. Interesting. Okay. 30 years of the far future. So it breaks all the years down. You've got that iconic piece of artwork. More. This is just a picture from their display at Warhammer World. Top 5 returns from the dead. Epic. Look back at all the codexes, got a few of them. supplements and expansions. Gathering Stormrise of Primarch only came out a few months ago. I think it's 4 or 5 months ago now. But Emperor's Legion. So they're doing a special version of it with gold gilt edge. Oh, you had me at gold. Blood of Heroes. That's a kind of reenactment of the Crimson Fists. Surrounded. Hey, and they have a Space Marine. Yay! They have a finally they have a Space Marine Primaris game going on. So yeah, you got Primaris with some Stone Guard and a Rhino and some Mini Marines and a load of Primaris and some Centurions, which are beefier. So that'll be a good read. Going up against Chaos. Okay, we won't look at the end result or anything like that. We don't want to. Okay. Oh, and then a second game. So then you've got Space Marines v Orcs. Good. With no Primaris. Oh, there is a Redemptor. I apologise, and a Gravis, and an Ancient, I think it is. Against a lot of Orcs with a Blitzer Bomber too. That's awesome. Yeah, so we won't see who won that one. But there you go. So Rhino APC. This is pretty cool. So what they've done here is looks like they've blended their Rhino in the front of Warhammer World, and they've sort of photoshopped it over some of their model artwork. That's pretty cool. So it's a Rhino special. Tale of Four Warlords. They've now got a Custodian Guard squad in there, and they've also painted him with gold. So it's, yeah, sort of, he's trying to go for sort of like the Emperor sort of look. Craftworld Eldar, they've added another set there. And then of course, I like those swords, they're pretty cool, the way he's done them. And Chaos, he's added a Chaos Knight. Yeah, so they've now got a big advert for their Warhammer Live, okay, on Twitch. So some Middle-earth extra rules and things for the Warg Riders, that's pretty cool. And then a special on Mortarion. I like the stone effects. Awesome. And I like that with the flies in there, the way they've done those flies. Oh, it would have been nice to see a couple more pages on Mortarion, like some artwork and things like that, and kit bash. Paint splatter, Crimson Fists, and a nice skin guide. Realms of Battle, using those new skulls and the new branches. That looks really epic to have a base done like that. That's pretty cool. It's obviously got trapped. And then, yeah, Warhammer World and Readers models. Very nice metal effect on there. And the Rogue Idol. And the bunker. Force perspective. Yeah, which is what I said. Okay. And then they've got a White Dwarf bunker Warhammer 40,000 league going on. Okay, that's interesting. So the next White Dwarf is on sale Friday the 6th of October. Death Guard, Paint Splatter, Armies on Parade, and so on. So they'll have a big section of Death Guard, I would have thought, on the 6th of October. It looks like a lot of their releases, just from the start here, are out, available for pre-order the 9th of September. Available sort of middle of September. There might be a couple of squads and things towards the end of September, so the next White Dwarf might cover those, you know, retrospectively, if that makes sense. But there you go, that is September's edition of White Dwarf magazine. If you've been in the hobby for 30 years, happy birthday. I haven't been in the hobby 30 years, I'll tell you that right now. But if you have, put it in the comments below. What was your most fondest memory of that when you first started all those years ago? Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor.